What's up, weirdos? My name's Murdoch, and the time is nigh for the very first episode of Coaster History. The Switchback Railway at Cedar Point.
We all know that Cedar Point's been around for quite some time, but exactly how old is it?
Glad you asked. Opening in 1870 as a bathhouse, fishing destination, beer garden, and party grounds by Louis Sistel, this 148-year-old amusement park is now known as America's Roller Coast.
Wow, that's 148 years old.
That makes Cedar Point the second oldest amusement park in the United States. Number one being Lake Compounce and Crocodile Cove, which opened in 1846. Compounce is, can you math it?
171 years old?
Yes.
It's gonna take a lot to get me there. I'm gonna be 51. That's an age. That's up there.
Good day, sir. Welcome to the 200th anniversary of Lake Compounce. The year is 2046. How do you do?
My question is, how the hell did we get here?
And Six Flags New England is tied with Cedar Point as second oldest amusement park in the United States. I mean, Gallop's Grove, or Riverside Grove.
No. You're thinking Riverside Park.
It's Six Flags New England now, okay?
Yeah, okay, alright, that's fine.
With Compounce being the oldest park, doesn't mean it's necessarily going to have the first roller coaster in the US. This was the Switchback Railway by Philip Hinkle of Brooklyn, New York's very own Coney Island. Built in 1884, it would be this ride that would eventually inspire Cedar Point to adopt its very own switchback in 1892. Not to surpass the opening of its very first ride, which was a water slide called Water Toboggan that jutted into Lake Erie near the Windseeker of today.
That sounds fun.
So let's just go back a little bit further. European coasters were inspired by Russian ice slides. American roller coasters were inspired by railroads. At the Mock Chunk Switch Railway of Pennsylvania, it wasn't long after its construction in 1827 that tourists started riding in the cars instead of just watching coal being transported. In 1846, they installed a second up track that featured a steam-powered cable system, reducing the ride time to just 80 minutes from 4.5 hours. Then in 1872, this railway retired from coal completely and started carrying passengers full-time until 1932, when the railway was sold due to declining tourism during the Depression, and then eventually was tore apart for scrap metal.
Don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
It is this railway that inspired the switchback of Brooklyn's Coney Island. By the turn of the century, there were hundreds of coasters across the country. The switchback of Cedar Point had riders climb to the station, where they'd be pushed down winding hills that reached 25 feet, which made you gain speeds up to 10 miles an hour.
What's going on? It's much too fast, please! Oh no, my petticoat! Not my petticoat! My hat! What of the feathers? The feathers! What of them?
Through the entirety of the switchback's existence, cars were lifted uphill by manpower, which made this Cedar Point coaster technically less safe than its Mock Chunk counterpart. Not to mention, this ride had little to no restraints. It featured bench-like seats with a handle on each end. At the top of the second tower, the car would be turned around to a return track, where you would for the last time experience a little push by manpower. The idealist of this coaster, LaMarcus Thompson, is also credited to the oldest coaster in the UK, called the Scenic Railway, which opened much later in 1920 at the Dreamland Amusement Park in Margate, UK.
So, what happened to the switchback at Cedar Point?
Removed in 1901, this coaster only operated for 9 years. Due to a change in ownership, the park didn't receive another coaster until the Cyclone was opened in 1929, right along the beachfront. This survived until 1951, when it kicked the bucket due to poor condition. Then, this roller coaster had a coaster famine until the Blue Streak arrived in 1964. Followed by the Cedar Creek Mine Ride of 1969, which utilized the same tubular steel tracks that the aerodynamics team had developed for Disneyland's Matterhorn bobsleds. Although, if you're looking for a true aerodynamics experience, you may find better luck with the Cedar Creek Mine Ride. The Matterhorn tracks have since been modified, where the Mine Ride still basks in its original glory. Although you cannot experience the thrill of 19th century manpower on the Switchback, you can still enjoy the 3 chain lifts featured between the Blue Streak and the Cedar Creek Mine Ride and roller coast into the 1960s. So until next time, peace out and ride on!